Good evening. My name is Eluukkanen, aka Eluukkanen, and I'm a composer from Finland. Today, however, I wanted to talk about something which is quite large and touches quite many art creators, composers, artists overall. It's a very broad subject, and I'm going to just use not too long of time for it, and also I'm going to be advertising one project I have been making, basically a game of mine called Don't Loot Back. And some of you might know that I do make games as a hobbyist, at least I've been, but now I actually finished a demo for a game indie competition, which has a link in the description that you can try it out. It's basically tower defense RPG RTS game where you play as this NPC who originally lived happily in his village, but now heroes came and looted the place, and now he wants some revenge. That is what is happening, and you are going to make that revenge happen. You build defenses to get rid of the hordes of heroes coming to your way, and that is published as a demo in description. I started making it in beginning of November. Just made it in 1 month. Every single thing, the system, music, art, and I tell you, I have been like a zombie in just last 2 days, working from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. Of course, having small gaps in between, but man, it has been quite a crunch, and I don't wish that to happen to anyone. But I've been using quite a lot of time for this to make it happen. There's videos and all, check that out. But now, I wanted to talk about something quite large and important for art creators overall, and the game in the background has something to do with it. Basically, I've been involved in many projects in past, and some of them have been successful, some of them have not been, and that is normal in art creation overall. Some projects start and some projects just end. I myself, when it comes to personal projects, I want to keep the success rate very high. But of course, it is inevitable that you will face some projects which just will fail. But that is natural. Some of them help you even create bigger projects in the future. But what I've seen in recent times in entertainment, in culture products which we consume, series, TV things, films, games, there has been quite many things happening, and not for the better, I tell you, in culture-wise. And it's very sad to see, as a game fanatic of sorts who enjoys experiences, new and old ones, and quite something which make you think bigger and larger things that you originally didn't even think about. Thing is, currently when I watch series like Harry Potter, Star Wars, Doctor Who, and Assassin's Creed, oh my god, and all those series, and hopefully not Lord of the Rings in its upcoming Amazon series, I see that it culturally, there's this kind of a cultural effect happening, and I feel it's very much something which is ruining games. And if you know any of those big series, basically there is effort from the creative aspects, from creators who are making the story, who are writing the story. They are not making it as good as in like generally in before times in this kind of big series it has been, and it's quite worrisome. Of course, there have been bad projects in the past, and there are some good ones in current times. I tell you, I follow some indie games and also indie titles from from all around, and there are some games which still raise my interest in story-wise and all art creation and that sort of thing. There can be creative things that I want to say, but the problem is that many times these creative products just are becoming more lackluster. They don't try new things. They don't even try to challenge their viewers. And I tell you, when I originally started consuming art, I was very lucky to consume this kind of games, art, and all sorts of animations, films, other media, which helped me to become what I am today. I was able to become this kind of organizer guy because I played strategy games. I got interested about history because Total War. I got interested about like fantasy and writing and stories when I watched games like Final Fantasy. Of course, somebody might laugh, or stories in those. I mean, like world building. In a sense, of course, or films like Lord of the Rings. Stories in that. Oh my, they made my day. These kind of franchises, they affect you. The culture products you consume make what you are, and they have a huge impact. And I feel they are becoming less and less creative in a sense. They don't try new things, and I know why is that. I've been just watching them quite a long time, very saddened to see the development. But basically what is happening is that the creative team within these areas are making that the games do not try that complex things, and instead result into very cliched and very well kind of a story arcs which you can very much just guess before they even happen. Very cliched indeed, and this might go to just recent Doctor Who, which I was kind of fan. Well, not the biggest fan. I'm never like this kind of fanboyish kind of fan, but I always, if there's something to value from an art, I will consume it, and I will be taking a high regard from it, and support it and that sort of thing. But just recent times, looking at what has happened to BBC and with the sci-fi adventure, it's very saddening. It is quite saddening indeed. And I've been thinking, what could you do? Things and culture products, they don't give that much any longer. And the reason is that the creative teams, they might be, rich people who, like well-off people who are, working on these. Like, I was in this commission thing where there was this guy who had, of course, the funding for the project. He was not that really like creative, if I could say that boldly, and he was making all sorts of shitty lore for the game about Egyptian gods and destiny and all sorts of very cliched things which you could just look at Dungeons and Dragons from pages of that, like basic generic lore, which is just kind of inspired by Lord of the Rings and then just changed into quite something else. It is very saddening to see in many fantasy kind of games and films this kind of development. If you watch them, you know that usually RPG games, this kind of medieval games, they make that there's a woman, a narrator who just, in the times of old, when people forgotten who they were, or something like very cliched kind of a mumble jumble kind of a language. I see this too often, and not only in projects which I'm part of, also in big projects. And I feel this is making the games much worse. The problem is that when the gaming and the films and all are getting bigger and bigger, it's not anymore passion projects for creatives who are part of it. The loud and the noisy guys who are able to dominate in these fields and take the creative fields, even though they don't have creativity at all, they are making them worse. Just one example, I was not a big fan of RuneScape, but I still enjoy the kind of the background story for it. There were these two brothers basically who made it, and kind of like from rags to riches kind of story, made their game, and unfortunately sold it away, and they did not have any kind of influence over it. It's very sad tale overall, and I see this happening, and I have a solution for it. I feel I've been making commission work quite long enough. I want to change this kind of style I'm doing from just self-centered music, which I do like and I want to keep doing, to something even bigger. And this project in the background is kind of a testing ground for it. It's basically, I'm going to be gathering a group of people who are artists, writers, all sorts of creative people around the world, and it's basically going to be what I'm doing, and what I'm gathering is people who are going to be part of different kind of art projects, which we're going to be making financially sold, and paying to those art creators who are part of those projects. The problem is that there are many creative people in the world, and they might not have the chance to get their artworks shown, even though many people might like them. I have seen so many creative people just trying to make their passion work for free and that sort of thing, and never even trying to reach bigger audience, because of course it's take time. But why not? If we just join up together, make something big happen, we could reach potential, big things, because it's worthless to just work by yourself. I know it from YouTube standpoint, sharing my music. I have been contacting and having these connections to quite nice people around the internet, which I didn't have in the beginning, and it shows. People the more you can do, and that's why I want to collect you together and other creative people as well, potential creative guys who might not have chances to get into these big studios, even though they might have very, very creative ideas and art and that sort of thing. I want to combine them together and of course pay from their work when projects come. They might participate or not, and kind of organize those projects into something which we could sell. Currently I'm having this project, which is kind of a testing ground, which I'm going to be releasing for free, or if a competition goes nicely, I will be investing that money to this much more. And after that there's going to be another project and a book project as well. So many things are coming on this way, and I feel I need to invest on it, because I don't just want to be a music guy on the internet. I want to build this kind of connections with people much more, which I've been doing this last autumn. I've been meeting business people, I've been meeting lawyers, I've been meeting people who are dealing with big sums of money in this kind of creative field projects on themselves. And I feel, as a young lad who has insight on this, I think I could just bring people together and we could do something big. Instead of just focusing on me, we could focus on you and other creative ideas and make them happen. The thing is, I see many potential things, and I'm not saying this because I just want to make you feel happy. I do see many potential things in people I follow, and I follow quite a lot of people, and I want to make those things happen. And this is going to be kind of like a first step for it, the Don't Look Back game. If it goes well, I will be investing the money, most of it, for this occasion, for making more projects. If it doesn't go well, there's still a plan to release for free for internet game places, and use it as a testing ground for future projects. In any case, any feedback you could leave in the comment, or perhaps in the game page, there's a link in the description, would help quite a lot. Feel free to go there, check it out, and have a look. I have been, of course there might be bugs, but take in mind that I made it in 30 days, so it was quite quite a busy schedule, but I will make sure to make it more better. I will be updating it quite a lot. Just yesterday I made 2 updates, today I made 2, so feel free to send any of your feedback to the game link site, because it might help in the competition. Yeah, and tell to your friends. It's a fun, challenging RTS tower building defense game. Anyhow, that's my news for you. I want to make more videos where I talk about directly things, and I don't just think about what is proper to say and that sort of thing. I want to talk directly to you and let you know what things are happening. Anyhow, that's through news from today, as YouTubers say. Anyways, wherever you are, whoever you are, I wish you a great day. See you later.